Well, now we're going to subtract decimals. And the problem is a piece of pipe 8.4 inches long is cut from a piece 40.8 inches long. What's the length of the longer piece remaining if the width of the saw cut is 0.2 inches long? Well, first let's subtract the length of the piece that was cut from the pipe, and so in so doing, let's see, we've got 8 minus 4 is 4. We need a decimal point there. The units are inches, and then we're subtracting 8 from 40, and that's 32. Well, now we have one more item to account for, and that's the width of the saw cut, and so we've got to subtract that also. And the result will be, let's see, 2 and 2 is 4, and I've got a 0.2 left. The units are inches. And 0 from 32 is 32. So the length of the remaining piece after a piece has been removed and accounting for the saw cut is 32.2 inches. Okay, well now we're going to be multiplying decimals, and here's the problem. Each inch of a 1-inch diameter cold rolled steel weighs 0.22 pounds. How much would a piece weigh that was 38 inches long? So we've got 0.22 pounds per inch, and we're going to do dimensional analysis, and we'll just multiply that times 38 inches, and I'll put that over 1. And now the inches divide out, and we're just left with the units of pounds. And so now we have to multiply 0.22 times 38. Well, I'm going to do it longhand. And a little side work here. And let's see, 2 times 8 is 16. And 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 is 7. And if I multiply it by 2 again, I'll have 76 again. When we add them up, we've got a 6, and 6 and 7 is 13. And 1 and 7 is 8. And let's see, 2 decimal places, so I have to move 2 decimal places and here, and we've got it. So that's going to be 8.36, and the units are pounds. Good, we've done it. Okay, our problem now is, let's see, if a roofer lays 10.5 squares of shingles in 4.5 days, how many squares does he do in 1 day? Well, that sounds like a division problem to me. So 10.5 is 10.5 squares divided by 4.5 days. So that's 10.5 squares. I'll just put SQ and days. And look, if we move this decimal over once, then we have to move this decimal over once. So that becomes 105 divided by 45. And that's squares per day. But let's do it using long division, which I'm sure they intended. So we've got 4.5 divided by, or excuse me, dividing 10.5. And as we just did a moment ago, if I move this decimal over one place, I have to move this one over one. And now the decimal's there, and we'll put a couple zeros here. So to clean that up, we've got 45 into 105 decimal, couple zeros. So let's see, if I double 45, I'll get 90, and that's as close as we're going to get to 105 without going over. Now, don't you agree we subtract? And so 0 from 5 is 5, 9 from 10 is 1, and we've got to bring down a 0. So I guess we'll have to triple 45, won't we, and see what we get. And if we triple 45, we get 135. And then we subtract, and at some point in our early schooling, we stopped even putting the negative signs there. We just know we subtract. So 5 and what is 10? Well, that's 5. And we borrowed 1 from the 5, and now we have a 4 here. And 3 and what is 4? And that's 1. If we bring down the 0, look, we're just going to go through the same process over and over again. In other words, this 3 is going to repeat. So I'm going to make that 2.3 repeating, and 2.3 repeating equals 2 1/3. So the answer to our dilemma is this. This roofer can lay down 2 1/3 squares per day. Isn't that what they wanted to know? Yeah. Got her.